Hey, good morning. We're going to kick this off this morning. I'm Ron McDaniel. This is Coffee Talk. And thanks for being here this morning. A few folks will kind of shuttle in. This is going to be a fun coffee talk this morning. As you can tell, I am grossly outnumbered. The good news is you will not hear much from me. The other piece of the good news is you're going to hear about what does cat ride mean? You're going to hear about programs for kids in school, middle school and high school, kids that go on to college, what those opportunities are. And so we're gonna. I think the best way to start is just maybe to go down the line here. Okay, and so Sally, we'll start with you and just give us a brief introduction, who you are and how you fit in with this conversation. Many of you have probably already been to Sally Batton's workshop this morning. If you haven't gone, go. Limber up a little before you go. She's going to make you work. It's not just to sit on your haunches and watch this. We've got a couple of college coaches to my right and left. We've got Jennifer here is from the IEA, and so we're also on camera out here, so keep this family friendly. I know that's not a problem when you're talking about coaches, but gosh, we were talking about coach here smoking a cigarette and drinking rum and coke yesterday. I'm like, yep, sign your kids up for that program. That was from many years ago. All right, Sally, why don't you start?
Okay, thanks, Ron. I'm Sally Batton. I was the Dartmouth College head coach of their varsity equestrian team for 30 years. That's located in New Hampshire. I was also the national steward of the IHSA for 15 years. And she probably had my phone on speed dial back then. I retired from that in 2019. I'm a traveling clinician. I get to come to expos like this, which I love. I have a podcast on riding in college. We also talk about equine careers and talk to collegiate coaches, riders, and organizations. I'm an author. My book, The Athletic Equestrian, and my latest book, Equisize, have a lot of great rider exercises. And my booth is in the lobby of the Tony's Pizza Event Center. Plus, I'm the founder and president of the Athletic Equestrian League, which is a catch riding organization for 1st to 12th graders and adults. Phew. What's going on? There you go.
Good morning, I'm Shanda Mattix. I'm the Equine Program Director at Colby Community College. I served as the longtime IHSA coach there as well. As Sally mentioned, her involvement with the Intercollegiate Horse Show Association at the national level, also serve as our region president. Our college is a part of Zone 8, Region 5, so that's colleges in Kansas, Nebraska, Colorado, and Wyoming. So as a regional president, serve on the national board, so worked closely with Sally during her tenure as national steward. With the Intercollegiate Horse Show Association, it's a catch ride system. So as we go to college competitions and as we host at our college as well, students are drawing horses out of a bucket right now, and that is the horse that they'll go compete on. So horses are placed according to their experience and discipline specific. Riders too are placed according to their experience levels. So we have some riders who have shown at a world and national level and are often placed in the higher divisions, the open divisions. Riders then that maybe have never sat on the back of a horse before and compete in a beginner division. At our college, we compete both hunt seat and Western, and then have academic programming, have degree program options for students to complete degrees in horse production management and equine science. I could talk about the person.
Okay, yes, but you'll get to talk again. Okay, and
My name is Ann White, and I coach the IHSA team at Kansas State University. And I just ditto with what Shanda was talking about, that how that works. I also want to say Shanda's also been involved with Equestrian for years and years and years. They have brought the Kitty Corral, and she's been a board member of Kansas Horse Council. She's very much involved in this program as well for that. Thank you that time. I also have a lot of experience with the NCAA program, which is now the NCEA. So if you have questions about that versus the differences between that and the IHSA, I can probably field some questions on that as well.
You two pay attention. There's going to be a test after this. IHS, NCAA, NCEA, IEIO.
That was very good.
Okay.
Yes. Good morning. My name is Jennifer Eaton. I'm with the Interscholastic Equestrian Association. We are a nationwide nonprofit that has been modeled after the Intercollegiate Horse Show Association. So everything that Shanda and Ann has said also applies to IEA. Our riders are placed in levels, and they are randomly assigned horses that are unfamiliar to them that have been determined to be on their level. Our program is available for riders in grades 4 through 12. We support hunt, seat, dressage, and Western disciplines, multiple classes within each discipline. We also do fun things like webinars on how to get into college, we have all sorts of scholarship programs, local scholarships, national scholarships. We have a benevolent fund that helps support riders that maybe financially can't participate in our program, that pays for all of their show fees and their lessons and things like that. And our benevolent fund also supports our coaches when they are in need, when their business is in need, such as a barn fire or some other catastrophe. We're able to support them that way.
So, and I'm just going to serve as the average Joe out here, probably the average James, not talking about anybody being average, just realized I'm in trouble. Right. So we're basically talking about programs from first graders up through college, right? So if you're over college, then you're out of luck. You should have made something out of yourself.
No, apologies.
Ron, I beg to differ. So both my program, the AEL, I've had adults since 2012. The IEA started an adult pilot program last year. Is this your first or second year?
It's our second year.
Second year, so I can let Ben talk about that. But the value of all of these programs is that riders get the opportunity who may not be able to afford a horse or are in a city and don't have access to horses, be able to ride and compete. Bob Cascione came up with this idea in 1967. He's the god of catch riding because he was in college at Fairleigh Dickinson University and he wanted to compete but not have to be driving horses all over the place. So this is how the idea started. For those of us that are college coaches, we'd love it when a rider comes to us who has either been through the IEA or the AEL, because they understand the concept of riding different horses. A lot of times, those riders do better in the IHSA than riders who have only ridden their own horse for their whole career. Riders ask me all the time, what can help me do better in college riding or be attractive to a college team? And it is kind of diversity of the different horses that you've ridden. Sometimes when I was coaching Dartmouth, I would get a rider who had only ridden their own horse, and it was not good because their only skill set was riding that particular horse.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's oftentimes, 50% of our IEA members have never owned or leased a horse. They're regular lesson kids. They go once or twice a week to take their lessons. They often ride a variety of horses. And those kids often have an easier time with IEA competition versus the kid that's been to the NRHA Derby, who's only ridden his one Derby horse, who has always been a horse to do that one specific job. the kids that can catch ride well are extremely flexible mentally.
So how many of the kids in your various programs, clear up to what you're doing, and come to you with no riding experience? They want to ride, but not only have they not ridden several horses, they haven't even had a horse of their own. What percentage of kids do you even have a ballpark of the number of kids that come? All right.
So I know that in college it's different. Within the IEA and the AEL, we do require minimum professional lessons from the riders. And essentially the kids need to have a minimum of a year with a professional instructor before they can compete in the IEA.
I would say at the Kansas State University, I'm gonna go out there and say 50% of the people that come to want to be on, it is a club sport, so it is open to anybody. So we get, I would say half the kids have never ridden a horse ever before in their life.
Sure, I can solve that. I would say that our percentage on the Colby Community College team is actually a bit lower. We have many beginner riders, but in IHSA, the classification for beginner is that they can never have competed in competition. So, in a rural area, we have a large number of beginner riders on our team, but a lot of them are range kids that they have grown up horseback, but never had an opportunity to compete. So this is a way that they can get into the competition realm and learn that. And again, done in a way that it's really affordable for riders. At our barn, we're kind of in a unique position for a lot of IHSA schools that we are an athletic team. So we are fully funded by our institution. We have a college farm with an equine unit, which is also where our equine programs are based out of. So students enroll in a horsemanship class, but outside of that, really have no expense to participate. The horses are provided, tax provided, a large number of the show clothes, travel gear. The school provides all of our hotels, transportation, meals. And students also are scholarship funded, so they can also earn scholarship money to come ride on our team. So even those beginner riders, a lot of them have some level of experience, but there are a few that have come that have never sat on a horse before.
So, Dan, I think I know where you're going. And so what I want you to be paying attention to, and anybody that might be watching this somewhere, that's not one size fits all. So your school, you've got the horses, the expense is minimal, you've got TAC. I think with Kansas State, talk to us about that.
We are not really associated with the university. You have to be a full-time student to be able to participate in IHSA, but the girls have to fund themselves. The horses are owned by me, the tag is owned by me. So they come to my farm to ride, and the university really doesn't support us in any way other than we get to say KSU.
Okay, so if you're watching this out there, shame on you, Kansas State. No, I'm teasing.
That's kind of why I said it.
This will be my last coffee talk. Thanks for allowing me to do that.
Might get
But
fired too.
I think the message is, if I'm hearing this for folks who are sitting out there, talk to the schools and talk to the program directors. I know it's hard to keep in mind all these different letters we're throwing at you. So go by Sally's booth, talk to these folks when we finish, and figure out where's the website, how do I catch up? Because I think it's good to have a program where people want to further their horse experience they already have. But I love the fact that some of you are saying, hey, if you've never ridden a horse, come to this catch riding program. We need more, I think we all agree, we need more youngsters involved and people of all ages with this program. Sal, you probably have more experience than anyone else on the stage here. And
Are you saying I'm old?
no, I wouldn't dare say that. I saw you put your walker over there on the side. And I shouldn't be teasing her. She's the exercise queen. She'll be making me do some exercise again that have me.
You're doing double.
Talk to us about this change that you've seen. It seems to me like the opportunities are greater than they've ever been for young people to get a start with horses. Talk to us about it.
Well, and I think that's the beauty, there's been some discussion of the different organizations and who's doing what and who's getting what rider. You know what? It's all offering riding opportunities for college students and below, for high school students. And every organization is so valuable. Plus, both IHSA and NCEA, which is the NCAA arm, little bit different models of kind of competition, but both offer numerous scholarships. Academic scholarships, sometimes athletic scholarships. The key is in all of this, and I talked about this yesterday with my writing in college talk, you have to do your homework. Nobody is just going to come and place it on your lap, although my podcast is close to that. 150 collegiate coaches, riders, organizations, where you can just tune in. You can find the school that you're interested in. I'm starting to do more. I just talked to Ann about doing one for Kansas State. But so hitting more, I have a lot of East Coast schools just because there are so many of them. But riders, you need to do your homework. You need to talk to the coaches. You all know how to Instagram stalk riders. You can find, I'm looking at 2 of the Colby riders. You know how to find them on social media, and you can talk to them and ask them questions.
So talk to us a little bit about your program starts them young, right?
That's correct, yeah.
And so for the folks out here, again, talk about your organization and talk about how they get started, because I'm assuming not only that they need to be in touch with your organization, but how would they know if there's even an opportunity in the part of the world? We've got folks who come from several states here.
Yeah, that's a really great question. To join the IEA, team needs a coach who is a person 21 years old or older, that carries liability insurance. Okay, and then from there, they need 3 riders to start their team. Registration is very basic. The first year of membership, the kids join and they go to horse shows that are in their local area. Now we have on our website, we have some great resources. Each discipline that we support has its own page. And within that page is a map that will show you where all of the teams are located across the United States. You can zoom into your home area, and if you click on any of the pinpoints on the maps, it'll open up and give you the name and the contact information for that team. It's one of the most valuable resources that I use every day, but it is a good way for you to see what type of population we have in your area, what type of opportunities are there.
So we've got a number of people here that are listening to us right now. They already ride, maybe they've got a barn of their own. Maybe this is not a program for them, but outside of maybe being a coach, how else can folks help in supporting what all of you are trying to do, which is to get more people involved with horsemanship, getting started right, learning to ride correctly, and kind of building a broader base of horsemen and horsewomen out there that can help us keep the equestrian sports alive and thriving in the U.S. So who would talk to us about that? How else can other folks, either watching or listening here right now, participate and support the various things? And all of you can speak to this if you'd like to.
So I would say the first thing is to just help spread the word of the opportunities that exist for youth. The state of Kansas, we have excellent 4-H programming too, but this is very different when we look at a catch-rite system. Our school, even though our team is fully funded by our institution, we rely a lot on quality donation horses to keep our program successful. So often we end up with horses that had a really successful show career, that, maybe are to the place that they can't jump like they were or work the number of days that they were when they were in a competitive show career, that come to our college and, have a little bit easier load. And we have an excellent care program for them that, and they can live out their retirement from the competitive show world in our barn and teaching our students. There's tax write-offs available for that too. There's folks that are interested. In addition, I think a lot of parents rely on sponsorships and tech donations and those sorts of things too, to help make sure that their program is sustainable and can keep, these kids showing. So I'd say that. Very nice.
I'll add to that too. The key is to keep learning. Reach out to professionals in your area. I know might be a little different here in the Midwest of how close you are, but there are books, there are videos. You can go on YouTube and find out more. There's a business called Ringside Pro where you can submit a video of you riding and it can come to me and I critique it, and it's affordable. I think it's like $40. So it's less than the cost of so there are lots of opportunities, even if you're in a secluded place, that you can find these opportunities for riding.
We have a lot of adults that join the IEA to be able to help us facilitate the program. We have just regular people that will go to local teams and offer to volunteer in some way. And we have a lot of officials that have reached out to us so that they can learn more about our program, learn about how to be able to officiate at our horse shows, because in a catch ride program, you really can't judge the horse specifically. And in a lot of our conventional horse shows, the horse is what the focus is on. So in all of these catch ride opportunities, we really ask the judge to focus on the efforts of the rider rather than maybe the actual response that they're getting from the horse. And so we have a lot of officials that reach out to us, they learn about our program, and then we're able to use them, especially in areas like this where we don't have a lot of officials that know about this riding.
And I had some fun teasing Kansas State. Your program's a little different. You all are funding a lot of the things, where your club members are funding a lot of that. Talk to us about the difference between what a club is and what a team is, and specifically what folks here in Kansas can do to support what you're doing there in Kansas State.
So in our club, you can be just a club member and not pay extra fees to be on the competition team. So if you are a club member, that just, you're part of the group that gives you, camaraderie with other students that are interested in horses. We have, at our meetings, we try to have a program, so we either tour the vet school or go learn how to, give baths or clip them or lunge them. So there are programs that you can do as a club member to learn and get some hands-on with the horses without actually wanting to buy the whole outfit and commit yourself to being gone on weekends to do the competition team. To help, I would say the same thing as just really donations, any kind of financial help that could help sustain the horses, help, keep the tack up and safe and, quality. And I have a question, because this is new to me, I can't keep all the letters straight, but where do you guys get your horses at the horse shows? Because that's another thing, that to host a horse show for IHSA, to have the number of horses, I know we just came from a horse show last week and we had 13 schools. That takes a lot of horses. These kids that don't have it, the schools themselves, their programs don't have enough horses. So then they rely on people to loan their horse for the weekend for these competitions. And that's getting harder and harder to find, as horses are becoming more and more expensive, that, people are not wanting to risk their animal for that weekend. So we're always searching for people that will loan a horse just for horses. And I am curious, where do you guys get your horses?
So all of our teams, we are a nonprofit, but all of our teams are for-profit teams. And after their first year in membership, they are expected to participate in running regular season point shows for our IEA members. Most IEA competitions are a community effort. We rarely have one single team that has the 40 horses they need to run a horse show. So oftentimes the primary host will be hosting that horse show. Maybe they're providing the facility and the bulk of the horses, and they can have up to 2 co-hosts help them with that horse show. And usually they also participate by providing horses. And then beyond that, we reach out to the teams that are actually coming to our horse show to see if they could bring us a couple of horses. So it's typically a community effort.
But it's also a struggle.
It is a struggle to get horses to, the more people we have participating, the more horses we have to be able to use in our program. We are always trying to put things in place within our rule book to help protect the horses, protect the horse providers. The program is set up in such a way that the bulk of the competition should not be too difficult on the horses. The bulk of our horses do just rail classes, and they do lower level fences, lower level ranch and reining, lower level dressage, because our kids are riding in IEA a level or two below where they're riding at home on a familiar horse. So we try to keep the competition on the lighter side to help protect those horses.
So, you need horses. That's one thing you can do. I'm looking at this table right here and they're already thinking, yep, that'd be a good place to get 10 rides on my 3-year-old. That's really not what you're looking
Well,
for,
thank you.
right? So we need
have roles
horses
for that.
in specific disciplines, because you do Western and English disciplines, it sounds like.
We do, yeah.
So, oh, I'm sorry, looks like you're, yeah.
So Jen said something earlier that I think as we were introducing this topic, maybe kind of skimmed over. So I want to make sure everybody understands what the catch rate system looks like. So she addressed that we are not evaluating the horse, which I think that is something that is sometimes confusing with the catch rate system. We are judging the horsemanship and equitation of the rider. So in the hunt seat discipline, it's equitation on the flat and equitation over fences. The Western discipline, it is horsemanship, now range riding and reining. So even in those scored classes that we're typically with range riding and reining especially, we're scoring the maneuvers of the horse. That comes into play to some degree, but it's more the effectiveness of the rider in communicating to the horse to make it through the pattern while evaluating their equitation as rides. Just so everybody understands what that process looks like.
So Sally, I have listened to a few of your podcasts since you made me aware of that. So any of you interested, go listen to Sally's podcast. They're half hour long. You can listen to it on your way to town. You probably got, I'm assuming, more experience, and if others want to chime in, I don't know that I've heard any objective data about the success of kids in college that get involved in horse program. But for 30 years, you have to have a hunch and a feel. Talk to the parents and the grandparents about the value beyond learning how to sit a horse in these programs.
I have started, on my podcast, I've also started talking about equestrian careers. And every single one, they usually have ridden in college on a team. And I ask them, what values or skills do you now use in your job that you learned in college? And it's things like leadership, teamwork, work ethic, because we all know barn hours are not 9 to 5. Barn hours are anytime, day and night. And lots of other skills that they learn, and through the years, all these organizations have, yesterday, one woman that works at the booth back there, she said, I went to national and I was the national champion. So really, all these organizations are feeding the horse industry, which we all know is a $1 billion industry. Do you want to talk to that too, of where your riders go?
So I love that you asked that question. So that's something that I often talk to parents about that. And I think our students realize that once they're out of the program too, that we're really using the horse as an avenue to help teach good character. And we're producing young people that they work hard, they're focused, they're balancing while they're in college, not only their education, but time on the team. And I tell our recruits to expect their time on the team to be like a part-time job. And they're going to be committing about 20 hours between practices, workouts, barn time. So as they're learning to manage all of that as a young person, we're helping produce quality people that, are feeding the industry and really just, providing quality people in society.
I do know that 100%. Time management kind of at the top of the list.
So we've got just a few minutes left. Are there any questions out there from the audience? If you got a question, we'd love to take a swing at it. Use your outside voice if you got a question and we'll repeat it. So anybody got a question for these ladies up here? Well, looks like we had one.
Is there an age limit on the college?
An age limit on the college question. Okay.
You can join.
And so there appears not to be an age limit.
You have to be a full-time student. So if you want to go back, enroll and be a full-time college student, then you are eligible for the team.
Was it,
Regardless of age.
were you looking at him or me when you were thinking there's also an intelligence requirement? So probably a bigger hurdle for me than the age. So you have to be a full-time student for these programs. I'm guessing for your program, because you said you were saying there's a program for adults now.
Yes, my athletic equestrian league. Unfortunately, there aren't any teams here in the Midwest, but same thing as IEA. If you just start with one rider for my organization, and 2 barns can start a team. But yes, we have adults, and so does IEA. They just started that.
Yep, so we primarily categorize our riders by grade. So it's ages 9 to 20, as long as they are enrolled in a secondary school program. Our adults start at age 21 and up. So essentially, anyone who should be out of college at that point can join our organization and show.
Yeah. Smart people are so diplomatic, should be out of college. They were not looking at you, Larry. They were looking at me when they said, should be out of college at this point. Hey, we are wrapping up coffee talk here. Any last comments that you guys want to make to just make sure that your message rings through loud and clear to this group or maybe to the folks that are watching about these opportunities?
Thank you. One thing that I failed to mention, and want to make sure that I get this in there too. When we're talking IEA, our college just started an IEA team last year. And did so because we were seeing a need for more opportunity in Northwest Kansas for youth to be able to participate. So we're still in the very beginning stages of this, but our facility was set up that we could manage that and have the horsepower to help make that happen. So also have an IEA team in addition to our IHSA collegiate team. All of us, I'm sure, would be willing to visit with folks at the end. Colby Community College is running the Kids Corral on the north end of the Tony's Pizza Event Center. So there's recruitment information there too, and our students are volunteering there throughout the weekend. So if you have further questions, stop me or stop in that area and grab information or visit with their students. As a former collegiate rider, I had the opportunity to ride for 4 years during my undergrad. It's a life-changing experience. We talked about the qualities of the young people that graduate out of our programs, but I can attest to the fact of it doing so much in my horsemanship abilities. So as you're getting all these different horses and learning to adjust to them, I, without a doubt, can say that it made me a much better rider having this experience than just showing my own horses as a youth. Excellent program. Would highly recommend any of these options to anyone who's interested. And I'm going to speak from a parent's perspective. I have a child that's about to graduate from the University of Rhode Island. She joined the IAA in 6th grade. She never wanted to do any other sport. I couldn't get her to do any other team sport. She was dedicated to her team. She loved it. And she went to school and she joined her college team. She's on their board. She's their treasurer. She's graduating. She's already got job offers. I can tell you that my child is so independent. She can make decisions. She's not afraid of taking on hard things. And I can guarantee you that that's the horses. And a big part of it was IEA and IHSA. So just great opportunities for kids.
Well, ladies, thank you for what you do for the youth, for this industry, our sport. And if you all would give them a round of applause. Just This has been Coffee Talk. We'll have another coffee talk with the Red Hawks. That'll be at 1:45 today. So if you want to learn some Native American history, see what